Hi, I am Zara, your English teacher, and today I am going to talk about the foundation of all languages, grammar. Grammar is like the rules of a game, showing us how to make sentences that everyone understands. Without grammar, it would be hard to know what others mean, and speaking would feel like guessing all the time. What is grammar and why is it important? Grammar is a system of rules that helps us organize words in a way that makes sense. Just like building blocks, words have different roles, and grammar tells us how to put them together to create clear sentences. Think about a famous quote by George Orwell: "Good writing is like a window pane." Grammar keeps that window clear so our thoughts come through without confusion. How grammar works with words and sentences. Let's start with the basics. Words are the smallest pieces of language. Think of words as the bricks to build a sentence. When we arrange words in the right order, we create sentences that express clear thoughts, like "the dog runs" or "she reads a book." Every sentence is like a small story. It has a subject, who or what the sentence is about, and a verb, what the subject does. Here's a simple example. Birds fly. The subject is birds, and the verb is fly. Notice how this structure helps us understand who does what. If we mix up the order or leave out important words, the sentence wouldn't make sense. Why grammar is fun and powerful. Now, some people think grammar is difficult, but it's actually a great tool. Grammar gives us the power to communicate clearly and confidently. Think of it like learning a new skill. The more we understand it, the more fun and creative we can be with our words. As the famous author Mark Twain said, "The difference between the almost right word and the right word is really a large matter." Let's explore the basics together. Throughout this podcast, we'll talk about the basic parts of grammar, like nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. Each part has a special job, and once we know their roles, sentences will feel easier to understand and create. If you're interested in learning more about each part, make sure to check out the videos on Bookish English. We've uploaded a series just for beginners to practice building sentences and understanding grammar step by step. Practice time. What's your challenge? Before we dive deeper, I want you to think about a question. What do you find challenging about English grammar? Is it remembering the rules or understanding sentence structure? Let me know in the comments. Your feedback helps make learning grammar easier for everyone. Chapter 2. Understanding nouns and pronouns. What are nouns? Nouns are words we use to name things around us. Every object, person, place, or idea has a name, and that name is called a noun. Imagine how confusing the world would be without names. For example, when we say apple, everyone knows we're talking about that round, juicy fruit. Here are some simple examples of nouns: people, teacher, friend, mother, places, park, school, city, things, book, phone, car, ideas, happiness, courage, freedom. As you can see, nouns are everywhere. They give structure to our thoughts and help us communicate clearly. Here's a famous quote by the writer Ralph Waldo Emerson: "Language is the archives of history." Every noun carries its own story, connecting us to the world around us. What are pronouns? Now imagine if we had to repeat the noun every time we referred to something or someone. Sentences would get very long. This is where pronouns come in. Pronouns are words that replace nouns, making sentences smoother and easier to understand. For example, without pronouns, Sarah reads a book. Sarah likes the book. Sarah wants to share the book. With pronouns, Sarah reads a book. She likes it. She wants to share it. See how the words she and it replace Sarah and book? Pronouns save us time and make sentences feel natural. Some common pronouns are he, she, it for a single person, place, or thing. They for more than one person, place, or thing. We, us, for groups that include yourself. I, me to talk about yourself. Using nouns and pronouns in sentences. Let's look at some simple sentences to see how nouns and pronouns work together. Nouns only. The teacher gave the students a book. With pronouns, she gave them a book. In the second sentence, she replaces teacher and them replaces students, while book stays as a noun. This keeps the meaning clear, but also makes the sentence shorter and easier to understand. Why nouns and pronouns matter. Nouns and pronouns are the first building blocks of sentences. Without them, we wouldn't know who or what we're talking about. They help us connect ideas smoothly, making language feel like a natural flow. To put it simply, nouns and pronouns make our words feel complete. As American writer Joan Didion said, "Grammar is a piano I play by ear. With practice, we can use these words naturally and confidently." Practice exercise. Try replacing nouns with pronouns. Now it's your turn. Try this simple exercise. Take a sentence with nouns and replace some of them with pronouns. Here's an example to help. Original sentence. Maria loves her book. Maria takes the book everywhere. Revised. Sentence. She loves her book. She takes it everywhere. Feel free to share your sentences in the comments. Practicing this replacement will help you see how pronouns make sentences shorter and smoother. For more examples and practice, check out our uploaded videos on Bookish English. They'll guide you through more ways to use nouns and pronouns correctly. This chapter introduces nouns and pronouns simply and engagingly, with practical examples and a light exercise to reinforce the concepts. Chapter 3. Verbs and Tenses, the Heart of Sentences. What are verbs? Verbs are the action words in a sentence. They tell us what the subject, the person, place, or thing we're talking about, is doing or being. Without verbs, sentences would feel empty and confusing. Verbs bring life to our words, showing movement, thoughts, or states of being. Here are some examples. Action. Verbs: run, eat, write, think, state. Verbs: am, is, are, was, were. Imagine this sentence without a verb. The cat, deras, on the mat. It feels incomplete, right? Now, with a verb, the cat sits on the mat. Verbs make all the difference. As the writer E.B. White once said, writing is an act of faith, not a trick of grammar. Verbs allow us to express that act in every sentence, showing what's happening. Understanding tenses show us when an action happens. There are three basic tenses. 1. Present tense shows what's happening now. Examples: I eat, she runs, they are happy. 2. Past tense shows what happened before now. Examples: I ate, she ran, they were happy. 3. Future tense shows what will happen later. Examples: I will eat, she will run, they will be happy. Each tense changes the verb slightly to help us understand the timing of actions. For beginners, it's useful to know these basics, as they're the foundation for making sense in English conversations, verbs and tenses in simple sentences. Let's see how verbs and tenses work in simple sentences. Present: the dog barks. This tells us the dog is barking right now. Past: the dog barked. This tells us the dog barked at some point in the past. Future: the dog will bark. This tells us the dog will bark later. Notice how the verb changes depending on the tense. That's how English shows time through verbs. Think of verbs as the heart of your sentences, keeping everything connected and alive. Why verbs and tenses are important. Verbs and tenses are what make our thoughts clear. They allow us to describe actions accurately and set the scene. Imagine if we didn't know when something happened. The famous writer William Strunk Jr. once said, "Vigorous writing is concise." Verbs help us achieve this by being clear and direct. Practice time. Make your own sentences. Now that you understand the basics, try making sentences with different tenses. Here's a sentence starter to help you. Present: I enjoy reading. Past: I enjoyed reading. Future: I will enjoy reading. Share your sentences in the comments, and don't worry if it feels challenging. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. If you want more practice with verbs and tenses, be sure to watch the videos we've uploaded on Bookish English. They're designed to guide you through more examples and exercises. Let's keep moving forward. Every verb and every tense you learn makes your English stronger. As we go on, remember that practice is key. Verbs and tenses give structure and meaning to our words, and understanding them is a big step toward fluency. Chapter 4: Adjectives and Adverbs, Adding Details. What are adjectives? Adjectives are words that describe or add more information about nouns, people, places, or things. They help paint a picture by adding details that make sentences more colorful and interesting. Without adjectives, sentences would feel plain and less descriptive. For example, plain sentence: the dog barked. With adjectives: the big brown dog barked. See how the adjectives big and brown give us a clear picture of the dog? Here are a few common adjectives describing size: small, large, tiny. Describing color: red, blue, green. Describing feeling or quality: happy, sad. The famous author Maya Angelou once said, "Words mean more than what is set down on paper." Adjectives bring extra meaning to words, helping us express ideas vividly. What are adverbs? While adjectives describe nouns, adverbs describe verbs, adding details about how, when, or where something happens. Adverbs often end in lie and make actions in sentences clearer. Here's an example. Without adverbs, she sings. With adverbs, She sings beautifully. The adverb beautifully tells us how she sings. Here are some common types of adverbs: how, quickly, softly, loudly, when, now, soon, yesterday, where, here, there, everywhere. Adverbs add depth to verbs, allowing us to express actions more precisely. As the poet Robert Frost said, half the world is composed of people who have something to say and can't, and the other half who have nothing to say and keep on saying it. Adverbs help us avoid the second half, making our communication precise and meaningful. Using adjectives and adverbs in sentences. Let's put adjectives and adverbs to work in sentences. Adjectives with nouns. The shiny car zoomed by. Shiny describes the car. Adverbs with verbs. The car zoomed by quickly. Quickly describes how the car zoomed. Why adjectives and adverbs matter. Adjectives and adverbs bring life to language. They help us communicate with clarity and style. Imagine trying to describe something without these details. It would be difficult to create an image in someone's mind. That's why adjectives and adverbs are so powerful. They turn simple sentences into vivid pictures. Practice exercise. Describe your day. Here's a simple exercise to try in the comments. Describe something about your day using adjectives and adverbs. For example, I had a wonderful breakfast this morning, and I ate quickly because I was in a rush. Feel free to share your sentences. Practicing with adjectives and adverbs will help you get more comfortable adding details to your sentences. If you'd like more practice, we have videos on Bookish English that dive deeper into using adjectives and adverbs effectively. Remember, practice brings confidence. Adjectives and adverbs might seem small, but they make a big difference in expressing ideas. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to use them naturally. Embrace these words and watch your English grow richer and more expressive. Chapter 5. Prepositions. Connecting the dots. What are prepositions? Prepositions are words that link nouns or pronouns to other words in a sentence. They show relationships like position, time, direction, or cause, making sentences clearer. Imagine them as connectors that help us understand where, when, or how something happens. Here are a few common prepositions. Position, on, in, under, beside, time, at, before, after, direction, to, from, towards. For example, without prepositions, the book, or the table. With prepositions, the book is on the table. With the word on, we now know where the book is. Prepositions help us connect ideas smoothly. Like the famous author E.B. White said, a sentence should contain no unnecessary words. Using prepositions for position and place. Here's how prepositions can show us where things are. The cat is under the chair. The boy sits beside his friend. The phone is in the bag. Each preposition adds important details, showing us exactly where the subject is. Without prepositions, these sentences would be unclear and incomplete. Using prepositions for time. Prepositions can also tell us about when something happens. Here are some examples. The class starts at 9 o'clock. She left before noon. They will arrive after dinner. With these prepositions, we understand the timing of actions, making sentences easy to follow. As American author Stephen King said, "To write is human. To edit is divine. Prepositions help us organize thoughts, giving clarity to our sentences. Using prepositions for direction. Prepositions can also tell us where things are going or coming from. Here's how. She walked to the store. The car drove from the city. He moved towards the door. Each of these prepositions provides information about movement, helping us understand direction. We can guide our listeners and readers, showing them exactly where things are headed. Why prepositions are important. Prepositions may be small, but they have a big job. They connect ideas, showing us relationships, and helping sentences make sense. Without prepositions, sentences would feel scattered, like pieces of a puzzle without any glue. As language expert William Zinsser said, "Good writing doesn't come naturally. It requires hard work and focus." Prepositions bring focus to our sentences, organizing ideas. Practice exercise, using prepositions to describe location. Now it's your turn. In the comments, try using prepositions to describe the position of things around you. Here's an example to get you started. My phone is on the table, and my bag is under the chair. Practicing with prepositions will help you get comfortable connecting ideas and adding detail to sentences. For more exercises, be sure to watch our videos on Bookish English. They cover prepositions with interactive examples to make learning easier. Building bridges with prepositions. Prepositions act like tiny bridges, connecting ideas and making sentences complete. They may be small, but they're powerful tools that give sentences depth and meaning. With every preposition you learn, your English becomes clearer and more expressive. Chapter 6. Conjunctions, joining ideas together. What are conjunctions? Conjunctions are words that connect phrases, sentences, or even single words. They help us link ideas smoothly and make our language flow naturally. Think of conjunctions as bridges that connect parts of a sentence, allowing us to express more complex thoughts without breaking the flow. Some common conjunctions include and adds ideas together, but shows contrast or presents a choice, because gives a reason, so shows a result. For example, without conjunctions, she likes apples, she likes oranges. With conjunctions, she likes apples and oranges. This small addition of and joins the ideas together, making the sentence more fluid and natural. As the poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge said, "Language is the armory of the human mind." Conjunctions make that armory stronger. Connecting thoughts with ease. Using conjunctions to add ideas is straightforward. Conjunctions like and or help us add or offer choices. With and, the cat sleeps and the dog plays. With or, would you like tea or coffee? These conjunctions let us include multiple ideas in a single sentence without losing clarity. Using conjunctions to show contrast. The conjunction but is useful when we want to contrast two ideas. She is tired, but she still wants to finish her work. Here, but shows that even though she is tired, there is a contrast in her actions. It helps make the sentence clearer and more impactful. Using conjunctions to show cause and effect. Some conjunctions help us explain why something happens or what result follows. With because, he stayed home because it was raining. With so, she studied hard so she passed her test. In these examples, because provides a reason, while so shows the result. These conjunctions help create logical connections, making sentences more meaningful. Why conjunctions matter? Conjunctions are like the glue that holds sentences together. They allow us to express multiple ideas smoothly without having to start a new sentence every time. With conjunctions, language flows better, and our thoughts sound more connected and organized. The famous writer William Strunk Jr. advised, "Omit needless words." Conjunctions help us do this by connecting ideas without extra words. Practice exercise. Combine simple sentences. Let's try a quick exercise in the comments. Take two simple sentences and combine them with a conjunction. Here's an example. Simple sentences. I like ice cream. It is cold. Combined. Sentence. I like ice cream because it is cold. Share your examples below. This practice will help you get comfortable using conjunctions to connect ideas. Remember, our videos on Bookish English include more exercises to help you master conjunctions in a fun, interactive way. Creating flow with conjunctions. Conjunctions may be small, but they add power to language, helping thoughts flow effortlessly from one idea to the next. The more you practice, the easier it will become to join ideas naturally in English. With conjunctions, you can express more in fewer words, making your sentences sound fluent and connected. Chapter 7. Basic sentence structure and putting it all together. What is sentence structure? Sentence structure is like the blueprint for building sentences. Just as we use bricks and mortar to build a house, we use nouns, verbs, and other parts of speech to build sentences. Understanding sentence structure helps us create clear, complete sentences that others can easily understand. The basic sentence structure in English is simple: subject plus verb plus object. For example, the cat, subject, eats, verb, fish, object. This structure forms the foundation of most English sentences. When we understand this pattern, we can start building sentences confidently and correctly. Components of a sentence. Let's break down each component. Subject. The subject is the person, place, or thing that does the action in a sentence. It's usually a noun or pronoun. For example, dog, Sarah, I. Verb. The verb shows the action or state of the subject. Examples include run, is, like. Object. The object receives the action of the verb. It's what the action is directed toward. For example, book, apple, music. As Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. This structure helps us keep sentences simple and understandable. Building simple sentences. Let's see how this structure works in examples. Subject plus verb. She reads. Here, she is the subject, and reads is the verb. Subject plus verb plus object. They play football. They is the subject, play is the verb, and football is the object. Understanding this pattern will help you build sentences accurately, even as you add more words to express more complex ideas. Adding details to sentences. Once you're comfortable with the basic structure, you can add adjectives, adverbs, and prepositions to create richer sentences. With adjectives, the happy cat eats fresh fish. With adverbs, she reads quietly. With prepositions, he sits on the chair. Each added element gives more detail, helping others understand exactly what you want to say. Combining ideas with conjunctions. You can also combine sentences with conjunctions like and, but, and because. She likes pizza, and he likes pasta. They wanted to play outside, but it was raining. These conjunctions connect ideas smoothly, creating complex yet understandable sentences. Why sentence structure matters. Sentence structure gives clarity and meaning to our words. It helps us express complete thoughts that others can easily follow. As writer William Zinsser advised, clutter is the disease of American writing. Following a simple sentence structure keeps our language clear and avoids unnecessary complexity. Practice exercise. Create your own sentences. Let's try a final exercise in the comments. Create a sentence following the subject plus verb plus object structure. Then, if you feel comfortable, add adjectives, adverbs, or even a conjunction to make it more descriptive. Here's an example to get you started. Simple sentence, the dog barks. Detailed sentence, the big dog barks loudly at the stranger. Feel free to share your examples. For more guidance on sentence structure, check out our videos on Bookish English. They walk you through each step with easy exercises and examples to strengthen your grammar skills. Congratulations on learning the basics with this chapter. You've covered the fundamental parts of English grammar. Remember, every part of speech has a role, and when we put them together correctly, we can communicate clearly and confidently. Keep practicing, and soon creating sentences in English will feel like second nature.